On this Wednesday, New York City has a new mayor and the Democratic Party a renewed sense of purpose. Voters have elected 34-year-old Zohran Mamdani to be the city's youngest leader in generations. He is also New York City's first Muslim mayor. The victory caps a rise from a little-known state lawmaker to one of the country's most influential figures. Mamdani, a self-proclaimed democratic socialist, said that his victory was a step towards defeating President Donald Trump.
Zohran Mamdani's win follows a meteoric political rise. Once a long-shot candidate, he's now set to be New York's first Muslim and first South Asian mayor.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant. So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us.
Mamdani energized New York voters during his campaign, promising to fight back against Donald Trump's anti-immigration policies and to address the skyrocketing cost of living in the United States' biggest city. A self-described socialist, he's vowed to freeze some rents, make buses free and offer public childcare. While critics have pointed to his lack of experience and the challenges in delivering on ambitious promises, many voters are hopeful.
A large chunk of my income goes towards public transit. And so if there's a way to, lessen the price for that, which Mamdani's going to do for us, I'm there for it 100%.
Has directly addressed Trump and his abuse and power. Congress has failed to do so. Mamdani has now placed himself above Congress as a national leader, and he hasn't even taken office yet.
Donald Trump loomed large over the election in his home city. He made his dislike of Mamdani clear, calling him a communist, and threatened to withhold federal funding if he won, quickly sharing his thoughts on Mamdani's win on social media. Democrats, though, are celebrating. Elizabeth Warren and Hillary Clinton among those to share their congratulations. The mayoralty marks a win in their struggle to gain traction after Trump was re-elected. It wasn't the only success of the night for Democrats, with candidates winning high-profile races in Virginia and New Jersey too. While the wins all came in typically blue states, they'll be hoping the momentum can last and boost the party's chances ahead of next year's midterm elections.
All right, I want to bring in now Scott Lucas. He's a professor at the Clinton Institute at the University College in Dublin. Professor, it's good to have you with us. So what did we see last night? Democrats, they were able to sweep their first major elections of this second Donald Trump presidential term. Is this the sign of life that the Democrats have been waiting for, or will it remain just in New York City?
No, it's a sign not just for the Democrats, but I think for many Americans of a different kind of politics. The reason why I say that is that beyond Democrat, Republican, right versus left, remembering that Mamdani ran against a fellow Democrat, Andrew Cuomo, in New York, this was more of a positive politics. This is a positive politics based on particular policies. How can you deal with the cost of living? How can you deal with transport, with food? How can you deal with education? Those basic day-to-day issues. And that's sort of juxtaposed against the Trump approach at national level, which of course is more of a politics of division, us versus them, or enemies within, and dealing with specific issues filled with invectives such as migrants and refugees. So I think you saw that alternative not just in New York. I think even more importantly, you saw it in Virginia and New Jersey. Virginia, for me, is more of a purple state. It's not a clearly Democrat state, not clearly Republican. But Abigail Spanberger won by 15 points in that state against a Trumpist. In New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill won by 12 points against a Trumpist. So what you actually had was, at the state and local level, this response, which was, we don't necessarily want to go the Trump way. And I think what it does is it breaks through a narrative that a lot of commentators in the US were pushing, and even some in Ireland where I have, which is the Democrats were finished. They were in disarray, they were dysfunctional after last year. I think that's a misleading narrative. The lifeblood of American politics is at the state and local level, and that puts us in a very different position from the way that Trump portrays it a year ahead of the midterms in 2026.
And what you're saying here, though, Professor, I mean, it's a strong statement for the Democrats. I mean, are you telling us that Mamdani has found the recipe that will allow the Democrats to win, not on the New York level, but on the national level come midterm time and also in the next national election in 2028?
I think it's not just Mamdani again. I think if you really look, it's big tent politics. Now, Mamdani in New York, which is a bit more liberal, a bit more diverse, you really go with those messages for social spending. You go with those messages in terms of transport, education, healthcare, state-supported grocery stores in communities that don't have them. When you get to a Virginia or a New Jersey, you go more into that center-left lane of politics. It's not as flamboyant as Mamdani, but it's that get things done politics. So as Abigail Spanberger, who the governor-elect in Virginia put it, she said, pragmatism over partisanship and competence over chaos. And I think you get both messages if you're going to have a positive politics going forward.
Before this election, U.S. President Donald Trump, he threatened New York City with a cut in federal funding. Last night on social media, on his social media platform, Truth Social, he posted a rather cryptic message that reads simply, "And so it begins." What do you expect Trump to do next?
Have a temper tantrum and threaten New York City, as he has done many cities. Again, let's put this in context. Donald Trump doesn't believe in a balance of power with cities and states. Here is a man who's trying to put the military on the streets of U.S. cities. Here is a man who's trying to cut funding to these cities for vital services. This is that politics of division I was talking about. The reason why I don't think it played well in New York is I know a lot of New Yorkers, and they don't like being bullied. And I think this actually increased support for Mamdani in the critical final days, the idea that they were going to have to bow down to Trump. And that'll set up, again, this type of political choice over the next year, which is Trump can threaten, he can bluster, he can even try to deport millions of people. But is that necessarily what Americans want in many states and in many communities? That'll set us up, I think, for key issues, not just about who wins, but what type of America we have going forward.
Professor Scott Lucas with University College Dublin. Professor, it's always good to get your take, good to get your insights today. Thank you.
Thank you.